Hey everybody, what is up? My name is Martin and welcome to 2K Central. I hope you guys are doing well. So we recently uploaded a What We Want from Mafia 3's upcoming expansion, Stones Unturned, which comes out May 30th. And with Sign of the Times arriving sometime in July, probably the end of July, knowing Hangar 13, we decided to put together a small list of what we want from that expansion, just for funsies. Sorry, I'll never say that again. Now the only downside is we've received almost no details about Sign of the Times except for some concept art and a small summary of what the narrative has to offer. But regardless, here's our list, and as always, we'll try and keep it short, simple, and realistic. But I might just throw in the odd wacko idea, just for fun. It wouldn't be me otherwise. Number 1, a dark plot. So Sign of the Times will revolve around a selection of ritualistic killings that has New Bordeaux basically shitting their pants. And in response to this increase in cult activity, Father James approaches Lincoln for help, and Lincoln does indeed agree to take down the cult responsible for these brutal actions against the city. Now firstly, I'm curious to know what Father James's connection is to this cult. Perhaps he loses a friend to these seemingly religious fanatics, or the cult is simply sending a clear message to the church, though that's just me speculating. But what I do want to see is an almost horror aspect to this DLC, not exactly jump scares around every corner, or any, because I'm quite the bitch in that regard. Instead, highlight the brutality of these killings, build up the villain's relationship with Father James, and don't hold back on their sadistic motives. Make this pursuit an unnervy and uncomfortable one for Lincoln Clay. We're thinking, do we really have to go after this cult, because they're rather frightening. Number 2, a strong villain. And as previously mentioned, the narrative revolves around the pursuit of a dangerous cult. The concept art also includes this blonde lady holding a bloody knife, along with what looks like 2 dog tags, which is kinda creepy and mysterious, though we have no details regarding her or the cult's true motives. Now something the full game got right was the majority of the mob bosses and villains were somewhat relatable in their own small way. So what I want to see is a villain that isn't stereotypically evil and unreasonable, despite leading a brutal and bloody cult. Give him, but what seems to be her, a worthwhile motive. Number 3, a new location that isn't completely lifeless. So similar to Faster Baby and Stones Unturned, we want to see Sign of the Times bring us to some new locations in New Bordeaux. Now the only thing that has me slightly worried is the synopsis for the DLC, quote, a quest that will take him, being Lincoln Clay, from the dark heart of the old bayou to the drug-ridden counterculture of the inner city. That would lean towards it being located within our current map, though here's hoping it simply unlocks a brand new section of New Bordeaux, similar to Sinclair Parish. And to the second point, give us a location that feels a little more lively. Now this has been a minor issue I've noticed from the Faster Baby expansion. Sinclair Parish in particular feels completely empty and almost dead once you finish the narrative it offers, which might actually fit this DLC considering the plot, though it's not an excuse for lifeless areas, and it would be nice to explore an area that feels a little more lived in, instead of simply being an empty vessel in which they can share their side story. What does that mean? I don't know. Number 4, more vehicles and melee weapons. So currently the trend seems to be a release of 2 new vehicles and 2 new weapons with each expansion, which is nice, but continuously we've been seeking a larger selection of cars to add to our fleet, and it would be nice to have a selection of new weapons to choose from. Personally, I would love to see the addition of some melee weapons, which would offer an option to add a little more variety to her playstyle, but that might be an unrealistic request at this stage. Number 5, a finished product. Now Taylor mentioned this in his video, but I'm gonna repeat his point because it was a good one. Now this seems to be a genuine problem for Hangar 13 with Mafia 3. They're failing to offer a complete product at launch. Honestly, I won't address the full game's issues, that's a road we've travelled along way too much. But Faster Baby in particular still had a selection of minor issues that weren't exactly game breaking, yet they were still slightly annoying and didn't do anything positive for Hangar 13's reputation or the game's. I personally experienced a massive amount of environmental textures popping in and out, and I mean it was constant to the point in which I actually got used to the textures popping in and out, which isn't really a good thing. And the proximity mine was slightly clunky, some achievements were unattainable for some people, and other additions simply failed on specific occasions. As I said, nothing too troubling, but I think it's fair to ask for a finished and polished off product, considering we've all waited this long and stayed loyal despite the game's reputation and issues in the past. But hey, that's just me perhaps asking for too much. Sorry, I'm being a cheeky little bitch in this video. Number 6, a longer narrative with less filler. So simply put, we want a longer narrative from Sign of the Times. Now I realise the request for a longer expansion in general is an obvious one, considering the length of Faster Baby being roughly 90 minutes, yet it could still be a slightly dodgy request considering the full game undoubtedly grew extremely repetitive, as seeking a longer expansion seems logical in theory, but if they're simply going to add filler and further gang rackets to make up the length of the DLC to say, hey, our DLC is 6 hours long, then perhaps it's for the best that they create a more streamlined experience that simply showcases their narrative, similar to Faster Baby. So I'm a little on the fence. I want more cutscenes and more value for my money, but I don't want filler, and playing another racket would completely destroy my soul as a gamer. So, and finally, an honourable mention. So Taylor brought up the same thing in his video, the ability to replay the expansions. I'm just a little confused to why that's not a thing, but hey, I'm not a game developer. But yeah guys, that is the end of the video and our list of what we want from Mafia 3's Sign of the Times. Now more importantly, what do you guys want most from Sign of the Times? I'm curious to read your thoughts, despite the fact that we don't really know too much about the game, but I think it's a good time to get feedback, or send feedback, towards Hangar 13. But as always guys, thank you so much for watching. For more gaming content like this, stay tuned here on 2K Central. Take it easy guys, bye bye.
Yes, everything's absolutely splendid. Walking down the street and you hear